dream, right?
Yeah, listen, these two, they do need each other. Whatever we think of Eubank, this is a promoter's dream. Of course, it was a promoter's dream before all of the storyline and the narrative and the violence, because of the history and the family legacy. But now, with everything that's happened, and with the volatility, with the violence, with the hate, it's just become 3 times bigger than when it was. And you know, the first time, it was the fastest ever selling fight at the O2 Arena. Wait till it happens this time. But listen, I'm not going to play games. We want the fight, but we got options. We don't need him like we needed him before to make a big fight. We got dreams to win championships and create legacy at 147. The only thing that makes this fight dangerous and competitive is him going up 2 divisions. If this fight was in the same weight class, it'd be a mismatch. I'd actually write to the British Boxing Board of Control and say, you shouldn't license this, it's not fair.
Conor, I suppose there's been so much time now in the absence of maybe not seeing each other as such. Now you've managed to get face to face. Is he still the same sausage that you thought he once was? More of a sausage, perhaps?
Yeah, no, he's more of a sausage. He's always been a sausage. He's an arrogant prick. That's what he is. And I think after the way he's played his card, to be fair, if I was him, would I play the card he's played? Probably not, but he wanted to, lap up on another man's pain and then think when I see him, I ain't going to be on site. Do you know what I mean? He's lucky he's fighting tomorrow, otherwise I would have been, put my hands on him. I would have spun his jaw and turned his lights out.
Obviously, His Excellency's excited by this fight. That's got to obviously spark that up a little bit more, Eddie.
Yeah, look, I think His Excellency, like all fight fans, he likes the drama. This fight's got plenty of drama, and listen, we've already spoken in London, and he's very interested in staging this fight, and we'll have to talk to the teams and see what happens tomorrow night. Eubank's got to get through, yeah. I mean, he's fighting probably a British level opponent. It's probably a 50-50 fight.
What was sort of said between the two of you, Conor?
I'm just being smug. Oh, I like this. Fucking well, like this. See how much you like it when you're eating the canvas. See how much you like it then. I think he just, I'd say I'm kidding and all that. Wait till I manhandle him, get my hands on him.
We obviously spoke so much about moving up from 147 to 160, but I suppose you've almost had a little bit more time to prepare for that now, if anything. Do you think it almost plays into your cards a little bit more in a weird way?
Yeah, listen, obviously it's not been great me not being able to make, or not having made 147 for 2 years. I like the 8-ounce gloves. I feel better at 147, but I'm confident in going up to 160, giving this guy a good beating and dropping back down to 147 and winning the world titles. There is a difference in terms of the gloves, and obviously they are bigger guys like my last 2 opponents. But listen, if they don't go down, in the first 4 rounds, well then they get a good beating over 12, which they did. So with Eubank, it's more personal, and I will be going in there to render him unconscious. That goes without saying. I will be going in there and making sure he knows who the daddy is.
Eddie, obviously this fight at £160, with everything that's sort of happened over the course of the years, how do you see it now? Does it play into Conor's hands that little bit more in the time that he's fought at 154 now? He's maybe...
It's a disadvantage when you move up weight. That's why it's competitive. If you look at the skill set across both fighters and the strengths across both fighters, it's not even close who's a better fighter. Geezer's 35 years old, still got a next-gen tracksuit on. He's a young, hungry fighter. That he's not. Everyone wants to make money. He wants to create a legacy in the sport. Junior don't. He just wants as much money as he can get ASAP. Then he's off. The hunger's totally different. But 160 is a disadvantage for Conor Benn. There's no doubt about it. But at 147 on an even playing field, it's a 2-round, 3-round fight, demolition. And I believe it can still be a demolition. But the weight makes it interesting, competitive, and a bit dangerous for us. But good. He wants dangerous. Go back and watch Nigel Benn against Aaron Barkley. It's exactly the same that will happen in this fight.
Yesterday, Eddie said to me that Chris isn't world class. Do you agree with that, Conor?
I do agree with that, most definitely.
You lot, look at his resume. I'll tell you what I'll do, right? Go on, carry on. Let me get.
I don't listen. He's me and him are completely different fighters. I'm sad to achieve and improve. Do you know what I mean? Improve myself. Do you know what I mean? I'm here to really prove myself, and why I'm one of the most dangerous fighters. I've got a chip on my shoulder about it. So for me it is about winning world titles 147, and I will not be happy if my career's said and done without winning a world title.
When you started in boxing, and I suppose obviously your old man's legacy speaks for itself, but it was the Eubank Benn fights and the fights like that we talk about legacy and made him the fighter he was.
Mum, Dad, I'm sorry for swearing. Because I've swore a lot and I feel really bad.
I've got a feeling you may need to do this apology after the whole weekend.
This is the last 5 years of Chris Eubank Jr. Matvey Korobov, he fell over and hurt his knee, and the fight was over in 2 rounds. Marcus Morrison, Wanik Awadejijan, Liam Williams, who quite honestly wasn't the same. Liam Smith knocked Spark out in 4 rounds. Liam Smith, who actually physically shouldn't have even been in a training camp, let in a gym. And now Kamil Zerameta. Like, his best wins, Arthur Abraham, who was 64, James DeGale, who was shot to pieces when he fought him. I mean, every time he stepped up, Billy Joe Saunders, which would, by the way, the Billy Joe Saunders fight was 10 years ago. George Groves, good fight actually. Eubank was tough in that fight, got beat. Like, JJ McDonough. Avni Yildirim is his best win. And Avni Yildirim had to retire after 2 rounds against Canelo Alvarez to save embarrassment. Like, he's never had a world-class win on his resume. He's not a world-class fighter.
Finally for me, because I am catching up with Conor one-on-one shortly, but if the spark wasn't there, it certainly is again now, and I suppose all systems are go right to get this fight back on track.
Absolutely.
Touch wood.
Yeah,
Chris Eubank wins Saturday night.
We've got a lot of options around this fight. Not just this fight, but our other options as well. But we acknowledge, for both guys, this is the biggest fight in British boxing right now. So we're keen to get it made, and if everybody can work together, we can create something very special. If not, we'll go and fight for a world title at 147.
Conor?
Yeah, world title 147. For me, that's the goal. Listen, I don't know how long I've got left at 147. So for me, if this fight doesn't happen in the next 3 months, 4 months, for me, fighting back at 147 is key, and it's wide open. Barrios, Stanionis, Ennis. Listen, you want to fight yourself against the greats. You want to prove yourself. And for me, I'm at an age where I'm coming into my prime. 147 where it's at. If this fight don't get made lively, I'm dropping back down to 147.
Eddie, how does this man